Is doing well. We're just going to wait another minute. Some people are coming in. Okay, just give me a quick second. People are still signing in. Hey, why don't you in the chat thing, just type in where you're from and who you are. I see Gabrielle from Vienna. Hey, welcome this afternoon or this evening in your case. Mary's here from Ottawa, good friend of ours. I think I saw somebody else as well. Let me just say hi to the rest of you. Jeanette is from Sweden. Just give me one second. There we go. Where else do we have? We got Stephen from New Hampshire. Welcome. Marianne from Canada, the great city of Canada, just outside Ottawa. Why don't you, just to make sure if you can hear me okay, just type in where you're from, and then that will let me know that you're here today. And Belgium, I see Teresa from Halifax, welcome. Lilia, Toronto, Belgium, welcome everybody. Hey, good to have you here. We have somebody from Croatia. Miljana, that's probably not the correct pronunciation, but welcome from Croatia. I want to thank you all for being here. We've got a great webinar planned, but it's also an opportunity for you and I to discuss anything that's needs to be discussed. Oh, welcome, Colin, all the way from Auckland. Thank you for being with us today, and good to see everybody here. Okay, so I see we've got the slowed down now in terms of people signing in. John, welcome. Gabrielle, Colin, Benedict. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to do, I've got something that I want to talk to you about, which is let's get this damn book finished. And Bob, welcome. Good morning, everybody, and good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. So I want to talk about how you can use this crazy time to finish your book. I have 11 additional methods or additional ways to get your book finished. But before I go through that, if you have any questions for me or Black Card Books, if you type that in the question and answer section, I'll be able to answer that. Or if you put it in the chat window as well, I'll be happy to see what I can do about answering that. So is there anything else other than what you see on the screen that you want to talk about today? Because otherwise, I'm going to go quickly into 11 methods to get your book finished now. Now is a great time for you to get your books finished. And if anybody has any other topics you want to cover, just go ahead and put it in either the question and answer period, chat, or the chat room, one of those two. And I'll be able to see if I can address those. Otherwise, we're going to go right into our writing thing. One thing I would love is a way to listen to that music that you played during the workshop. Okay. So Teresa, if you would like that music that I played during my workshop, you need to send me an email at Jerry@Black Card Books. I'll just type it in the chat window. Just send, whoops, sorry, one second. And just ask me for it, and I'll send you a PowerPoint with it embedded in it, okay? So let me send that to, oh, there, it's already there, typed for me by my awesome team, Hannah. Anything else? I'm quite distracted from writing the book. Okay, that's good, Gabrielle. That's exactly what we're gonna talk about. Anybody else have anything they wanna share? Hey, before we talk about that book thing, let me say this, that there are always two sides to absolutely everything. And you need to understand that in this crazy time, it's possible for you to see good, even in the midst of this bad. I mean, there's nothing wrong with, and I don't want to deny that things are crappy for many of you. But I will say this, there's two sides to everything. There's people making money right now. People have money to spend. I'm doing 2 webinars this week. If you want to get to Hannah, maybe you can post those links later. If you're a coach or consultant or an author and you want to see what I'm recommending and what many people are doing today to get high ticket clients for coaching business in this environment, you might want to join one of the 2 webinars that I'm doing live. They're only live. She doesn't allow me to record them, with a friend of mine, Lucy Johnson. There's one on Wednesday and there's one on Thursday on how you can make money right now. And so I'm excited about that. And Hannah, I don't know if you can find those links in my email or not, but we're doing one on Wednesday. I have to get up at 5 in the morning to attend this. And then one on Wednesday at 1 p.m. And if Hannah doesn't find it, I'm sure she will, but if she doesn't, I'll make sure to post them at the end. Great for any of you who have a coaching business and you need to get with the times, man. It's a crazy time out there, but people are still spending money on coaching. They're not spending it on restaurants and travel and entertainment, but they've got lots of time and they're in front of computers. So see, with everything that's going on in this world, there's 2 sides to absolutely everything. And so my encouragement to all of you is you know, make the most of what you can for your business. Look for what's good. The fact that you have time right now, many of you, is a perfect opportunity for you to finish your books. If you're thinking about what's good about this situation, you would hopefully be grateful for the fact that the virus, as serious as it is not Ebola. I mean, 95 or more % of the people who get this virus are going to be just fine. You ought to be grateful for the fact that China is coming out. They're starting to put their people back to work. I noticed that some public transit is being redeployed today. So there's a lot of good things happening. Neighbors are connecting with neighbors. People are getting a lot of answers. Those of us who have faith are being re-energized in our faith. Those people who have had no religious faith are looking to God for answers, and they're finding a lot of comfort there. There's just a lot of things happening. And so for that reason, I decided to put this lab together to help you get your books finished. And so I'm going to go very quickly through the different methods that you could use to get your book written during this crisis. Listen, some of you should stop watching the friggin' news. Get the hell off Netflix. If your book isn't finished, you could get it done now. So let me go through several different methods, 11 in fact. And I see that Hannah has put the 2 links to the live webinars I'm doing, teaching people how to find high-paying clients during this crisis for coaching, for people who do coaching programs. And we probably have 30, 40 people who are our clients who've already, I mean, hundreds have attended her webinars with me. And I think 2 or 3 dozen have already enrolled in her program. It's fantastic. So I'd come and watch this because she's going to give you lots of answers. This is on Wednesday at 5 a.m. Toronto time. And the next day, April 2nd at 1 p.m. Oh, I think the time may change, Hannah. The time may change, but just send me an email if you'd like to come to that, and we'll make sure to get you the updated link in case, because I think the time might have changed to 3 o'clock. But anyway, so there's lots of different opportunities. Let me cover them quickly. If you want to stop me at any point in these 11 additional ways for you to get your book written in these crazy times, just stop me and I'll happy to talk to you about them. Well, the first one is my 40-hour Write It system. Now, anybody who's been to our boot camp or anybody who is in our instant author program, you'll know what that system is. I have a lot of video material and worksheets and spreadsheets using that 40-hour method. Now, what happened to my video here? Whoops, let me back up. Give me a second. Has the video gone blank for all of you? I'm just looking at my screen. Can you tell me, does it say my 40-hour system in there? Yes, okay. Okay, good. So, you know, my 40-hour system is also, just one second. My 40-hour system, I have a bunch of videotapes. And so if you need additional training on how my 40-hour system works, please just send an email to CS. Let me just type this in here. Whoops, it should go to everybody. CS@BlackCardBooks. If you send an email there, if you're in my instant author program or are one of our customers and you have access to our home study course, those videos on Write It could be very valuable for you in terms of learning my system. And so if you have any questions about that, again, just reach out to me or at customer service. That's the main email we're using for right now during this you know, slowdown and pandemic. And so if you've got, if you have, oh, there it is. If you have any questions about that, just send us an email. So because that training is already done, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. That's just the first method. You all have access to that. And I think it's something that some of you should commit to doing. Look at for the next at least 30 days, most of us are going to be home. We're quarantining or isolating, and make the most of this time, man. You can literally get your books finished in the next few days, next few weeks, those of you who have still to finish it. So if you could answer this question, please, in the chat window, could you tell me, is your book finished yet? Yes or no? If you could just type yes or no. Nope. Good, good, good. Stephen's done. Jeanette is just starting. John is done. Congratulations. Mary, not done. Sunshine, Georgie, done. Good. So I think that's really good. Now, those of you whose books are not done, can you tell me what percentage of your book is done? And it could be anywhere from 0 to 80, 99, 100% done. Okay, some of you haven't even started yet. Jeanette, 5. Awesome. Good. Mary, 65%. Okay, reviewing manuscript. Congratulations. Marianne, 50%. Awesome. Okay, so now what I want to encourage you with that. Okay, so first of all, committing, deciding, making it a must during the next month, you could get your books finished. Okay, and I'm going to show you 10 other methods beyond this one. All right, so let's get at it. First, there is another method that some people have used, which is the 2 pages a day. That's literally committing to, no matter what, typing out 2 pages a day. And 1 page is anywhere from 250 to 300 words. If you do 2 of those a day, so anywhere from between 500 and 1,000 words, man, that book is going to get done. So you could choose that method. Don't get overwhelmed, like some of you don't have a lot of time. But don't tell me you can't write 2 pages of a book that you know is going to help other people. So the first recommendation is, if this is for you, use the 2 pages a day method. And that's just 2 pages every single day, no matter what. The first thing you get up or the first thing you do when you get up or the last thing in the day or immediately after lunch, find the same time, find the same place, and force yourself to come up with 2 pages every day. Okay, so that's method number 2. Method number 3 is interviews. Listen, now is a great time to be interviewing all kinds of people about your book. And they're all home, most of them, and they're all available. And so if I were you, I would go back to my Publish a Book and Grow Rich Bootcamp workbook, or those of you who have access to the videos, go to the Fund It section. In the Saturday afternoon Fund It section, you will see there my training on how to do interviews. So instead of taking the time to do that now, I'll encourage you to watch that. Make a list on page 51 of my workbook and get those books, get those prospects now open. Get those, fill in the worksheet on the 10 categories. And if you need help, just send an email to cs@Blackcard Books, and we're here to help you. Get 10 categories, and then 10 people in each category. You'll have 100 people to interview. Listen, now is a perfect time for you to interview people. So then that will give you impetus once you get the content. And once you commit to a certain number of hours per day for interviewing, and you stick to it. See, I think that these times, this should not be seen as a holiday. My goodness, this should be seen as a perfect opportunity for you to slow down so that you can speed up. So interview, get going on interviews. The next one is dictation. Now, I know some of you don't like to type. Some of you don't even like to write. Well, you could easily today find a software program that allows you to dictate. Dragon Naturally Speaking is one of them. If you're on a Mac, you could easily record your voice and have it transcribed. If you go to a website called rev.com, I'm putting it in the chat window now, rev.com will take that recording of you speaking your book. Some of you could just do that. Why don't you just record some stories? If you don't like typing or writing, just record some stories and then send it to rev.com. They'll give you the text then all typed out. And that could be at least a portion of your book already done. And you can do it that way. There's people who've spoken the entire books that way. Dictation may be a solution to some of you. Now here's another one. And this is a critical one, a good one. Most of you have the 10 chapters for your book. And some of you who don't, you just need to send an email to cs@Blackcard Books. So I'm thinking specifically about Milana, who said that her theme isn't done for her book yet. So you've got some work to do there, Milana. Just go and send an email, and then we can schedule a time to help you sort that out. But here's what I would do for most of you. You take the 10 chapters of your book. You then write. Hold on, this is driving me crazy. I'm listening to myself on my phone and it's just going crazy. 1 second. I got to figure out how to turn the audio off. It's driving me nuts. I can't. Disconnect audio. Okay, there we go. So, so here's what you got: 10 chapters. Why don't you do and prepare 10 webinars? Seriously. Like if I told you right now, I got 500 people in another room and they're exactly your prospects. You've got 3 hours to come up with a 1-hour webinar to teach those people based on 1 chapter in your book. Most of you do it. That's what I'm going to suggest you do. You prepare 10 webinars and teach them. Get some slides, get some stories, get some content, and teach a 1-hour webinar. That one webinar, that one 1-hour webinar, whether anybody shows up to it or not, is gold for you. One, it becomes something that you could use to sell later. It could be used as a bonus. It could be used, something that you could turn into a home study course as a lead attraction magnet. But more importantly, you could send it to rev.com, have them transcribe it, and now you've got a chapter mostly done. If you did that in the next month, if you were to do 3 or 4 of those every week, seriously, a 1-hour talk, if you had enough impetus, you'd get that friggin' thing done. So doing webinars is a good way for some of you to get your books written. Seriously, don't miss this opportunity. We've got a very rare opportunity in that you're all home. Many of you have got enormous amounts of time to be working on your books. And so take advantage of maybe teaching some webinars. Plus, there are lots of people who need your help. And if you send me a link, to when you're doing your webinar, I'll promote it to everybody on my list. And maybe you'll get some customers for your coaching business that way, okay? So we're here to help. Decide on doing webinars based on your book, and then transcribe that and use that to help finish your book. Number 6 is my $3,000 technique. Now, this technique, listen to me, is guaranteed to help you get your book out in 30 days. How many people here want to get their books out no matter what in 30 days? And so just type yes if that's you. And Jeanette, you asked the question, should these be paid webinars? No, these are free webinars because you want to just do it. Who else wants to guarantee their book done in 30 days? I'm telling you, this will work. Here's the technique. It's so powerful, but as soon as I tell it to you, you'll know I'm right. You know what the technique is? And I know you're going to think this is crazy, but here's what I would do. If I had to get something done in 30 days, here's what I would do. I would take $3,000 and I would literally give that money to somebody that I trust. I would literally give them that money. And I would say to them, if the first draft of my book isn't in your hands in 30 days, you can keep that $3,000 bucks. You know you would get it done. And if 3,000 won't do it for you, give them 10. I mean, if you're serious about getting it done and nothing's going to stop you, give them 10,000 and tell them that if the book isn't in your hand, no matter what, if the book is not in their hands in 30 days, they can keep the 3,000. You know you'd get it done. Now, I'd be happy to volunteer to be that person, but I'm telling you, for those of you that have been procrastinating, some of you for months, some of you for years, you all know that this is a two-year program. You've got to get this friggin' thing done. And so I'm suggesting if it has to get done, if you create enough potential pain for you, you'll get it done. That's my $3,000 technique. Next, get interviewed. So some of you don't know necessarily how to write your book or where to start and all that. You know what you do is you find somebody and work out with them a series of questions based on the chapters of your book. And if you find an external processor, that is somebody who thinks outside of their voice, an extroverted person, somebody who's very creative, right-brained, creative person, and make a list of 100 questions or whatever, and have them ask you questions, and then stop you and interview and dig deeper on that thing. So let's say you're doing a chapter on conquering fear. One of the chapters is on conquering fear. You would have them interview you. So, Mary, tell us, why would you include a chapter on fear in this book? And then she's listening to your answers. And then she'd say, well, what happened to you as a girl that would, oh, and then you tell your story about something that happened to you. Ah, how did that make you feel? What did you learn about that? How did that help you in life? How did that hurt you in life? You know, just dig, just constantly after question after question. If you've got the right person doing that, just asking you all kinds of questions over and over and over again. And again, go to rev.com as soon as that's done and transcribe it. You know, get her to ask you stories from your past. Get her to ask you for the biggest advice you have. What are the steps to overcoming this? And if it's just an impromptu interview, that, if you get the right person, could become your book, done in the next 30 days. The next one, again, this is just another thought. What's Gabrielle saying? I will have 2-hour radio interview in 3 weeks where I can say what I want. I can do it this way for sure, Gabrielle. And by the way, if that interview person is really good, hire them for a couple of hours to ask you more questions and go deeper. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that the trick for this is going to be finding the right person. Someone who knows how to dig and ask you questions, and, you know, just get lots and lots of content on that. Good. So the other thought now, the next method number 8, is thought of the day. Now, this could be for some of you an answer to prayer, an answer to getting your book done. What you could do is you could write a thought of the day. And so we've seen lots of books like that where you know, you have a book and it just says March 30, and then you put what your main theme is, and it just come up with a thought of the day. That's like literally 3 or 4 sentences every day. If you do the whole year and you think, okay, in January, what are the themes that people are having in January? Well, it's renewal, it's starting over, it's a commitment to growth. In April, things are happening, renewing, and spring is coming. And in July, people are slowing down. You maybe talks about vacation. You know, a thought of the day is a very good book for many reasons. One is it tends to be picked up a lot. Some of you who've never done a book, you ask yourself, if you had 3 minutes to share today your best advice, what would it be? I just got off the phone, texting rather, with a friend of mine. His name is Simon Clark, and Simon is in the hospital. He had lost all use of his limbs, was in a terrible car crash, and that car crash killed his wife. Dude is going through a real rough time right now, but he's got a lot to be grateful for. And so you gotta, you know, like just me telling the story about Simon Clark could be a thought of the day. You know, you think your life is tough? Hey, let me introduce you to my friend, Simon. He lost his wife. He lost his use of his limbs. He's now getting back. And here's what he said to me today. It's not what happens to you. It's what happens in you. I mean, that's enough, just that as a thought of the day, okay? So some thought of the day is another method for some of you. Now, here's another one that has worked very well for me, and for some of you may do it. I don't know if I've told you this, but I was in my office in a boot camp one time, and I was talking about different ways to get your book written, and this guy just looks at me like, I said, what's the matter, dude? He said, well, my book. I said, what do you mean your book? He said, it's already written. And I went, what? He said that he'd been writing a blog for 5 years, like a podcast, a blog. And his blog is, he's a management consultant. So you know what the guy said? He said, it occurred to me, my book's already written. I'm going to take 101 of my top blog posts, like the 101 most popular blog posts. And he said, that's going to be one blog post. I'm going to do 101. And his book's on 101 management techniques that work in today's environment. Your book might already be done, folks. You don't even know it. I have in my office, I've got it here. No, I don't have it here with me. But I've written hundreds and hundreds of articles. Well, many of you might do the same sort of thing. What if you were to take articles or blog posts or special reports that you've already written, work them a little bit, but compile them as a book? And let me tell you something, you gotta let go of perfection. Listen, good today is better than perfect never. And version 1 is always better than version none. And so for many of you, you might be able to repurpose either articles, maybe some of you teach courses, maybe some of you have videos or recording YouTube stuff that you could reuse. Past podcasts, those are is another method. Is there anything that you can repurpose that you've already done? I mean, my book, Publish a Book and Grow Rich, is nothing more than an expanded version of my weekend boot camp. It's my boot camp in written form. And so maybe you've got your book already written. And again, if I can encourage you to get it done this week or this month, it'll be really good. The next one could work for some of you. And this is called my Q&A technique. Now, let me tell you about this and how I did it and why it worked so well. And it might work for some of you. Let me tell you what happened. So I used to write a 3,000-word article for the national newspapers paper in Malaysia. Okay, so it's the big paper in Malaysia. I would write a 3,000-word article. And just so you know, a 3,000-word article, if you know what a periodical-sized newspaper is, so like the Toronto Sun, you know, one of those easy ones, it was the entire page filled with text. I had to write one of those every friggin' Friday. Well, I was traveling and as busy, as crazy as I was, you think it's difficult to come up with that much content. So a couple of times I got this idea. Because I didn't want to mess up I didn't want to not deliver an article. I had to deliver an article. So you know what I did? I went online and I found fabulous articles on my subject. In those articles, it was all about sales and marketing. So let's say I saw John's article in USA Today or New York Times, or I saw something in Success Magazine. Here's what I did. Now listen to the whole thing, don't panic. What I did is I would take that person's article. And I can't submit that article to the newspaper because I don't want to make him the star. I'm still the author and a star. So how do I insert myself into that article? Here's what I did. I took the article. I turned that entire article into a Q&A. So if John wrote an article on 6 ways to improve your sales, okay? Key number 1, have a better attitude. So what I did is I would change that article to a Q&A to make it look like I interviewed that person and the article was my Q&A. So it would say this: hey, John, you say that the first thing a salesperson needs to do is what? And then I would just keep going with his article. And I would insert questions all the way through, but I didn't have to write anything. I just inserted my questions into that article, okay? So now I took his article and I made it as if I interviewed that person. What I did then is I sent that article to John, the author. And I sent an email and it said this: hey, John, I saw your article in Success Magazine. It's fantastic. I write for the national newspaper of Malaysia. What you would say is, I'm writing a new book. And I would love, what I would love to do is take your article, turn it into a Q&A session. And I've taken the liberty of doing that to show you what it would look like. What I'd like to do is ask you your permission. Could I run with this as a chapter in my book, or in my case, as an article in the newspaper? You know, I've never had one person not one person ever say no to me. I mean, just think about this. If they're in the New York Times or Success Magazine or on a blog or somewhere, and the article has to be really good, they get the credit, because I would say, hey, I interviewed my friend so-and-so, and you're interviewing them. It's a different way of interviewing them, but essentially, here is the result of an article I read and an interview I conducted, and then give the guy credit. Like, tell him you're going to give him, you're going to give people your his website or whatever. And then, so you basically take that article, convert it into a Q&A, and boom, like that, you've got a chapter written. Now, you can add more things to it. You know, you can, if you want to add something to the story or whatever, that's fine. Most people will never, ever argue with you about that. So that's my Q&A technique. Jeanette said, is it okay to have Q&A in one chapter, but another form in another chapter? Sure, absolutely. You see, here's what I know. Once you get it down, you can get it right. The thing is, it'll be so motivating to you, Jeanette, to get it out on paper. It'll be fantastic. People are going to love, I mean, you're going to love the fact that you've got something to work with. So absolutely, that's the Q&A session is a good one. The last one, and again, I'm not sure exactly who's listening to this right now, but many of you, I suspect, who are in our Instant Author program have access to my virtual ghostwriter software. The virtual ghostwriter software is a software that I own, that many of you have already have access to, but you're not using it. And so if you want me to demonstrate that, well, first of all, let me back up and say, if you are not sure if you have access to this software, you send an email to cs@blackcardbooks and ask them, do you have access to this? Some of you do, some of you don't. Some of you who don't, you can get access to it for a few bucks a month. It's nothing. What it is, it's a mountain of content that I own the rights to, and I license that to you to use, listen, without attribution. What that means is you don't need to credit me for it. What you're going to do is, or what I've done is, I know topics that our group listened, that our readers, our customers write about. And if you're writing a generic topic, I have taken the liberty of I've taken the liberty of writing or getting access to those things, and I've pre-ghost written them for you. And so there are some topics that have more than others, and some don't. Mary just wondered about empowerment. So Mary, would you like me to show you how it works right now? Because I disagree with you that there's not a lot on empowerment now, because you may have to find ways of researching. So can I use you and Mary? Can I use you as an example? So you're going to do a chapter on hope. Is that correct? Okay, so let me pause this for a second, folks. Let me go and show you what the virtual ghostwriter software, what it looks like and how it works. Just give me a second here. I just need to type in a link. Just give me 1 second. Yikes. No. You're going to love this. And again, if you do not know if you have access to this software or not, just send an email to cs@blackcardbooks and ask them. Okay. So now I've got stuff in the way here, folks. Just give me a second. And 1 minute. So let me close this. I'll close this. Okay, Mary, let me just log in. I'm going to log into my software. Oh, sorry. It's just coming up. Okay, Mary, let me get to the chat again. All right, so you can see here, let me just move this over here. So for everybody who's here, once you log in, And we have about another 100,000 files. We have about 103,000 files now. There's about another 100,000 coming in within the next month or two. They're just being cleaned up right now. But so Mary is looking for a chapter on hope. Mary, in the chat room, could you please type other topics in it? Like what are subtopics on hope? Because you need to, first of all, you need to have several subtopics because it may not be written in that way. Mary, if you're still listening, I need you to type what are there some subtopics under that chapter on hope. So everybody who's watching, you can see here all the various topics that we have. And these are typical topics. Now this, in order for this to work, you have to be writing on generic themes. So if you've got some very unique specialized knowledge, this is not going to work for you. But many of you, like writing something as generic as hope, could get an article in 10 minutes. Watch this. And for some reason, she's not typing. And I'm not sure why, Mary. Maybe you don't know yet. Online. Okay, well, let's use hope. And Jeanette, I'll be happy to work with you in a minute. So first, let's work with hope. Oh, let me see. She's got it somewhere else. Okay. So look at the topics for everybody who's here. Business, families, finance, partial books, health, miscellaneous, personal development. Personal development currently has 26,000, 25,000 files. So what I'm going to do, and this is what I would show you how to do, Mary. You go here, you type in the word hope. Now, what I'm suggesting you do, and again, if you have this option, is you only search inside the virtual ghostwriter. So that's going to be inside that folder. So I click OK. Watch this. I don't know what's available on hope because I've never rehearsed this. So I just click OK. And it's a bit slow today because everybody is home. Now, why is this not working? 1 second. There we go. Okay, so now look at these titles, Mary. Hope in humanity. Hope for all. Finding hope. What do you mean there's no topics on hope? Making the faith hope connection. Stinking thinking makes hope a dope. So guided relaxation on finding hope. Debt management. Hold on to hope, humor, and optimism. So let's look at that one. So Mary, what I would do is you just click on it. The article then shows up. And once the article shows up, in some cases, now there's different formats, but this article is on hope, humor, and optimism, okay? It's 842 words. You look at what it's all about. You read the article, Mary. Look at this. Optimism. These are a whole bunch of bullet points. Okay, so let's say you like this chapter. So what you do, Mary, is you take the chapter. Whoops, let me go back here. Let me do it this way. I'm going to take the article body and I'm going to cut and paste the whole thing. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to hit Command C or Control C if you're in, and then you open up a Word or a software program to edit this. Like this is where you're going to Microsoft Word or Pages or something. You're going to open up a new document. So now I'm in Microsoft, this is Pages, but it would be like Microsoft Word. You just go here and then now you paste the article inside a document. Whoops, that's not right. Let's just go here. Let me just take this out. Okay. I'm just gonna cut and paste this article now. That's 800 and some words, so it's not very long. Oh, 1 second, I made a mistake. Something's not working. I'm gonna go here. 1 second. I'm gonna take the whole body of the article. I'm gonna hit Command C. I'm gonna go back to my thing. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, so now I have the article here. Now, of course, there may be parts of this that you don't agree with. There may be parts that you don't like. If you don't like something, because I own the rights to it and I'm licensing it to you, delete that chapter. Boom. You would then add your own. Add your story here. Now, you may have to do a few things. You may have to change this up so that it reflects your voice, but that's what you have to do when you're working with any ghostwriter. So now, Mary, you instantly have a chapter on hope. And I'm telling you, there's all, in your case, I know for sure that there's lots. Now, the problem that many people have is they're looking for perfection. Let go of perfection. If the book has to get written, there's all kinds of material on your subject. Finding hope in trying times. Look at this, Mary. So look at this. There's a whole other article. Now, you might read it and think, okay, that's not me. It's not what I want to talk about. That's fine. Then just go to the next one. But if it is, or there's some part of it that you really like, you can just cut and paste it. There's a mountain of content available for you. And I don't care what topic you're looking for, unless it's something very different. Okay, good. So somebody else have a thing, a topic you want me to research quickly? Because there's so many. Does anybody want me to look at anything else? Online management. What does that mean, Jeanette? Give me a little bit more information. Being a manager. Okay, well, watch this. So again, I'm going to go here. I'm going to put being a manager. Now, you may have to change your search term all the time, but I'm going to go here. I'm going to search within the virtual ghostwriter. I hit enter. Like, I wrote a book the other day in one trip from Toronto. When I flew to Warsaw, I did the whole book in 1 hour using this software, and it was on women's leadership and empowerment. So let me just wait now. It's slow because of where I am in the internet. So just give me a second. We're doing a search on being a manager. Look at this. So this is on being a manager, being self-motivated, being a born leader. Okay, so that might be it, Jeanette. So you go and look at this. So this is an article. Leaders, okay. Leaders are not born, they're not made. Here's why. Reason number 1, reason number 3, reason number 2. Again, did you get that? Look, so there's an article. Now you might have to add more stuff to it. You may have to combine 3 or 4 of these to make a chapter, but there's all kinds of stuff on being a manager. Now, I will encourage you this, that if you don't get a lot using that term, come up with another term. So being a manager. So you could say leadership, just type in leadership, see what happens. And again, I recommend you always, depending, is you search the virtual ghostwriter. Now watch what happens with leadership, for example. There is just a ton of stuff. 1 second, let that refresh. Look at all, there's even entire folders on leadership. Not only that, look at this. Look at leadership qualities, leadership development, leadership teamwork, Effective leadership, 22-question leadership test. There's actually a friggin' test. There's so much content, and I own the copyright to it, and I'm licensing that to you to use as your ghostwriting partner. Guys, this is friggin' incredible. Grow your business is in here. Yes, there's Healthy Homes in here. Let me just see what's on Healthy Homes. That may be a different one, but let me see if there's anything on Healthy Homes. I don't know. There may be, there may not be. Now, what you're going to do is, if not, you're going to change the search. So you may have you may search mold. You may search dampness. You may so building healthy homes. Want to secure health? Look at this. Building healthy homes. Okay, so you know what I didn't do here? I didn't do this. See that? So it's searching everywhere for healthy homes. So you want to make sure that you search just for. But there's stuff on Healthy Homes. Let me go back. Let me go back here one second. And if you got any questions, please feel free to write them now, because we're going to end in just a few minutes. And I want to show you this. Now, look at this, by the way. Right now, there are 426 books written. Let me show you. Some of you, you could take one of these books, rework it, change the title, change the chapter, move the things around. Look at all this. Somebody asked me earlier about growing your business. 10 ways to write more effective ads. 10 habits of internet millionaires. 100 money-saving tips. If somebody of you writing on addiction, here's 101 addiction diet tips. 101 ways to market your business. Okay, so let's just look at this one for instance, because somebody had asked me about that earlier. Somebody said I'm a genius. You're very correct about that. So this particular book is entitled 101 Ways to Market Your Book or Your Business. Now, you would have to change some of these things, or you may want to expand on some of these things. You may want to, delete this one and put another one in there. You can do whatever you want. And if it's not strong, pass. Just go to the next one. But look at all the books that we have in here. Diet tips, fitness, eBay, personality types, a proven method, a proven road to banish fears. Let's see what that's all about. I don't even know. So it's a proven map. So what I would do is I would change that title. I would just change the title, come up with a different title. So you're going to look at this. Here's the table of contents. We are responsible for our own life. Just what is fear? Self-justification don't make. So I would change those things. So what happened for me when I did the book, I told you on my way to Warsaw, is her book was entitled Women Who Win. So I changed, what I just did is I said, women who win by conquering the fears. Women who win by taking action. Women who win with motivation or with meditation, you see? So whatever the title of your book is, you can make that out. And if you don't like one chapter, delete it. Or if you think this one should come earlier, take it and move it around. All you do is you just go here, you hit Control A or save the whole document, put it into a Word, and then you have access to this. That's one way anybody can get their book written in no time. Let me just see here. Do you think it is necessary to do interviews, or is it okay to just write your own thoughts? You can do both, Jeanette. The most important thing is your primary objective is to get that damn thing written right now. You're going to thank the coronavirus that's giving you the time to do it. Either way, get the thing done. And if interviews will help you, get it done. Teresa's asking questions, need a fact check. Someone told me yesterday that I should be researching all the other books that are written on my topic. I seem to read, nah, I would never worry about that. Don't worry about other books written on your topic at all, because you're not in the book selling business. You're not going to compete with those folks. So I would not, and be careful who you get advice from too, by the way. Yeah, so if you've got technical issues, John, you need to send an email to cs@blackcardbooks, because of the disruption in our business. We don't have we have things that are outside of our control, like if there's nobody there to print your books, or there's things that if they're all closed down, there's nothing we can do. So if you're uncertain about your timeline, you send an email to cs@blackcardbooks. Okay, so somebody's asking about the links for the webinar. So if you want to attend the webinar that I'm recommending, let me just go and see if I can get it here. Authors, give me 1 second. I'll just see if this is it. Nope, that's not it. Okay, 1 second. I do have it here. I'll just be a second. I'll just try and find it. Let's try this. Yeah, okay, so we gave you the wrong link, I think. Okay, so this one is for April 2 at 1 p.m. Okay, so I'm sending this to everybody now. This is for April 2 at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me see if I can find the other one. 1 second. Nope. Authors webinar. Let me just see this one. Yes, and this is the one for Georgie, or whoever said that one doesn't work. It's working for me. What about the rest of you? Can you click on that one? Oh, that's going to Hannah privately. Sorry. To everyone. 1 second. Here is the one for April 1. The rest of you just, and that's 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's to accommodate those of you on the other side of the world. So can all of you just type on that link and make sure that it works on those two links? Because we already have like 500 people registered or something like that already. Let me just see how many people are registered. So we've already got, and it hasn't even been, we haven't got the emails for today yet. We already have 281 people registered for that. And let me just make sure I got it. Sign in, redirect. So if you're looking at that, the webinar that I'm doing live is how aspiring authors can start generating high-paying clients under 76 hours without social media, using my friend Lucy Johnson's Zero Brand Method. It's absolutely incredible. I think some people seem to work fine. Georgie, can you just check it again? It seems to be working for everybody else. And this is my solution, folks, to everybody who wants to be a coach who needs to make money fast. That's the one. that's my recommended strategy if you want to boost your coaching business very fast. I've changed my whole company to match her method, and it's working like gangbusters. Right now is a fabulous time for you to be in the online business, and you've got an opportunity here like never before. So if any of you want to go to that, it's free. I even tried it in Chrome. The page opens, but the reserve the spot does not work for me. Okay, let me try it. Yeah, it's working for me. Okay, so Georgie, can you send me an email and I'll make sure to get you asking so I don't have to register again. Yeah, so it seems to be working for everybody else. So just send me an email and I'll make sure to figure out a solution for you. So that's our program for today. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Was this helpful at all? It's much better listening to me and to be here working on a skill like getting your book done than to watch Netflix. Can you just type in if this has been helpful and if you have any other questions? Any training on doing webinars? That's exactly what she's going to talk to you about on this webinar. It's all about webinars, Georgie. Isn't the purpose of the interview to get, isn't the purpose of the interviews to get funded? It is one of two purposes. Remember I said it's content and connection. So if you interviewed a bunch of people, you'll get a lot of content. Gabrielle, okay, good. Well, I hope you all stay positive. You will all get a recording of this, and any of you who are watching this after today, if the links don't work for those webinars, send an email to cs@blackcardbooks, and we'll make sure to get you links if we can get Lucy to do more of these live webinars. She does not want to do replays, to do a copyright and different things. So you have to attend one of these live. We're doing some early in the morning, like I'm getting up at 5 in the morning. If I can get up at 5 in the morning, you can get up. It's worth it, I'm telling you. So if you're watching this later in a replay, we hope you got through the coronavirus thing with unscathed. And either way, we encourage you to make your book a must. Make the use of this time. Get that book finished. God bless you, everyone. See you soon.